Everything at the ready there, video lady? Audio guy? We all have official titles.
I can't wait.
I wish I had an official title.
Question
Yeah.
boy. Judge guy.
What's up, Judge Guy?
How you doing?
Yeah. My job is to judge people.
I wish I
I did it for 28 years.
That's right, you did, didn't you? All right, well, if we are ready, then let's get after this then, shall we? And we are off to the races. Welcome to Academic Challenge. My name is Jim Gifford, your host and moderator, and today we are featuring teams from Berrien, Springs, and Bridgman. The WSJM's Academic Challenge features scholastic competition involving high schools from Berrien and Van Buren counties, and is sponsored by Waterville Lake Public Schools, Lake Michigan College, Lakeshore Public Schools, and by Chemical Bank. First and foremost, we meet the teams, and we'll start with Bridgman. Identify yourselves, please, and what grade you're in.
My name is Warren Craig, and I'm a senior. I'm Elliot Hankey, and I'm a junior.
I'm Carly Warner, and I'm a senior.
And Warren, your coach is?
Ms. Vaughn.
All right, got that one right. I don't think you don't get any points for that, but you didn't embarrass yourself, so good. Warren from Berrien Springs.
I'm James Johnson, and I'm a senior.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Buchholz, and I'm a senior.
Jessica Chin, I'm a senior.
Brady West, a sophomore.
Corey's the captain for Berrien Springs. Your coach
is Virginia Shum, but she could not make it, but we have the ever-capable Miss Roth with us today.
Right. Just to have capable people. Here's the basic rules.
Yeah, we'll try it.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys brought some. There's none in this building. Here are the basic rules for the first and second halves. We announce the value of each question before it is asked. You have 10 seconds to answer a question. 15 of it's a math question. When you press your button, please wait to be recognized. No consultation allowed. There will be during the 60-second round. More on that at halftime. I'll be scorekeeping and judging today, and the one and only Bill Klein will be asking the questions. And if everybody is ready, Bill, you may take it away.
Carly, for 5 points, what kind of laws allow people relief from their debts?
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
Welfare laws?
Incorrect.
Bridgman, 5 seconds. Warren?
Bankruptcy laws?
That is correct for 5 points. For 10 points, this is a math question. What is the ratio of the perimeters of two equilateral triangles if they are circumscribed about circles with radii of 12 and 50?
That appears to be time. No takers?
6 to 25.
Yeah.
For 10 points, specifically, how was the tomb of Jesus opened?
Brady, Berrien Springs.
By an angel who rolled aside the boulder in front of the entrance.
That's a correct answer. 10 points. For 5 points, the U.S. court is divided into pints, cups, and ounces. Into what 3 smaller units is the metric liter divided?
Brady, Berrien Springs.
Deciliter, deciliter, and milliliter.
Incorrect.
Bridgman, any takers? Warren.
Sorry. Deciliter, milliliter, and megameter.
Incorrect. You had 2 of them.
Megaliter.
You had deciliter and milliliter. It was centiliter.
Oh.
For 5 points, in 1981, Egyptian President Anwar Sadat was assassinated while reviewing a parade in what city?
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
Cairo.
That is correct for 5 points. For 10 points, the nymph Salmasius loved him, but he spurned her advances. But while he was bathing in her spring one day, she physically united herself with him. She then implored the gods to let her remain part of him for all eternity. Name this deity son of Hermes and Aphrodite, who thereafter showed characteristics of both sexes?
Wow. Joseph, Berrien Springs.
Hermaphrodites.
That is a correct answer for 10 points. Obviously, you saw the annotation game.
That's funny.
Futurama.
For 5 points, a bronze hippopotamus is the unofficial mascot of George Washington University. As legend says, hippos once swam in what river?
Jessica, Berrien Springs.
The Nile.
Incorrect.
Bridgman. Warren.
The Potomac.
That is a correct answer for Bridgman for 5 points. For 20 points, a math question.
Oh.
A carpenter wants to cut a cube 3 inches on a side into 27 1-inch cubes. What is the minimum number of cuts he can make to accomplish this?
Brady, Berrien Springs.
6.
That is correct for 20 points.
Wow.
I would have made one with an axe. For 15 points, quote the last line in Gone with the Wind.
Corey, Berrien Springs.
And frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
It's in the middle of the play. No, that's not.
Bridgman, 5 seconds. Time.
After all, tomorrow is another day. For 15 points, from what science is the word eccentric derived?
Warren, Bridgman.
Geoscience.
Incorrect.
Berrien Springs, 5 seconds. Joseph.
Physics.
Astronomy. For 5 points, in economics, it is a factor of production, just like labor or capital. It is not simply that part of the Earth's surface not covered by water, but also all the free gifts of nature.
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
Land.
That is correct for 5 points. For 10 points, what gas is produced as a byproduct of the decomposition of garbage?
Corey, Berrien Springs.
Methane.
That is correct. We would also have accepted the Buckeyes, but that's...
Wait a minute.
Oh, sorry.
That's funny.
For 10 points, protecting people hurt by discrimination. That is the traditional role of what U.S. Commission?
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
The Free Trade Commission.
Incorrect.
Bridgman, 5 seconds. Warren.
OSHA.
Incorrect. It's the Commission on Civil Rights. For 15 points, in order of size, name the 3 largest continents. Begin with the largest to the smallest.
Brady, Berrien Springs.
Asia, Africa, North America.
That is correct for 15 points. For 5 points, identify the following sentence as simple, compound, complex, or compound complex. Quote, seniors, juniors, and sophomores worked on a bake sale, washed cars, and held a barbecue to raise money for their trip to the National Academic Championship. End quote.
Brady, Berrien Springs.
Compound complex.
Incorrect.
Bridgman,
Compound?
Carly.
Compound.
It's a simple question. For 15 points, what position did John Dean hold in President Nixon's White House prior to resigning because of the Watergate scandal?
Warren, Bridgman.
Secretary of State.
Incorrect.
Berrien Springs, 5 seconds. Joseph.
Secretary of War.
He's the White House counsel. For 20 points, what is the difference between labas and labas in the French tongue? Labas and labas.
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
Male and female.
Incorrect.
Bridgman, 5 seconds. Time.
Lebas means stockings or socks, and labas means over there. Okay.
What?
For 5 points. After he had cast his shadow over the map of Europe, he became dwarfed by the alliances against him.
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
Napoleon.
That is correct for 5 points. For 15 points, in what fabric was the body of Jesus wrapped for burial?
Brady, Berrien Springs.
Linen.
That is correct for 15 points. For 5 points, the Mutiny on the Bounty, the French Revolution, and George Washington's election as president all took place in what year?
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
1776.
Incorrect.
Bridgman, Warren.
1789.
That is correct for 5 points.
And the next question is the last question of the first half.
Oh, and you want to get your pencils out for this one. For 15 points, list these periods of the Paleozoic era in correct chronological order, earliest to latest. Cambrian, Silurian, Devonian, Ordovician.
Brady, Berrien Springs.
Cambrian, Ordovician, Devonian, Silurian.
Incorrect.
Bridgman, somebody take a shot at it. Or not.
It was Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian.
All right. That'll wrap up the first half of today's academic challenge between Berrien Springs and Bridgman. We'll be back with the score in the 62nd round after this on WSJM, the news and talk of Michigan's Great Southwest.
Just want to let you know you're doing a very good job reading. You're doing a great job.
Okay, thanks.
State borders, Maryland, Please.
These are I'm pretty sure we should get one. Probably
Just do state borders. Just do it.
We have to rank them because.
Sometimes
state borders, Maryland.
Okay, so literally in that order.
Yes.
Okay, good to know.
I would have that. Also agree.
You guys get first choice, so.
State borders. You calm down, Joe.
I like to be informed about our decisions.
No, wait, yes?
Leave, get out.
It's true.
We bought them for this reason and for taking
What is a line of water?
water.
Here at
The other island.
I'm not sure what female.
The Sandwich Islands. It's exactly what it's.
It's the worst.
Oh, I have no idea.
I know, I was.
Like, as
I
as
paid
say, what's the
$2.95
difference
for it,
in
and I'm gonna
French
get
and
$2.95 out of it.
Hey.
What is that?
It's some.
Drinking with men.
I think it's popular among women and homosexuals.
Okay.
Does it say that on the label?
I had to take it off because of copyright. I didn't want them to come and take this.
It's from Greek literature.
Even in French, male is the opposite of
I just.
I turn around for like 3 seconds and.
Well, I didn't want this nice radio station to be sued by.
Wait, Matt, aren't you on
Starbucks.
They have all the
Say
money.
that on.
I was thinking of
They can fund the entire lawsuit with one mocha.
Aren't these hot?
No.
Anal terms.
I guess they are hot on there.
They're hot.
On the video
No,
there,
it's
yeah.
just not.
Yeah, that's why they look at the back of your head.
That's right.
All right, we're good.
We're good? All right. Let's bring her back then, shall we? At the end of the first half, the score, Bridgman 95. No, excuse me, Berrien Springs 95, Bridgman 15, and we move on to the 62nd round. In teams, you have 3 categories to choose from. We'll give you 60 seconds to answer as many of the 10 questions as you can. Each one is worth 10 points. There is a 20-point bonus if you answer all 10 within the time limit. You are encouraged to consult with one another at this point. Answers must come from the team captain. You may and probably should pass on a question if you have no idea. After the minute's up, your opposition will have a chance to answer the ones you didn't get to, you missed, or passed on. Bridgman, you're trailing at the moment. You'll have the first choice of these categories. They are state borders, Maryland, Dallas Cowboys. What's your choice?
We're going to do state borders.
You're going to do state borders. So be it. We'll put 60 seconds on the clock. Do you need to set this up at all, Bill?
It's just name the state that borders both.
All right. So at the ready.
California and New Mexico.
Arizona.
That's correct. Florida and South Carolina.
Pass.
Michigan and Pennsylvania.
Illinois.
Incorrect. Alabama and Louisiana.
Georgia.
Incorrect. Vermont and Maine.
Rhode Island.
Incorrect. Idaho and Oregon.
What are we gonna say? Wyoming.
Incorrect. Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and New York.
Connecticut.
Incorrect. Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming.
What's there? Pass.
Arkansas, Mississippi, and Texas.
If you got it, go ahead.
Louisiana.
That's correct.
Hey, how about that? 2 correct for Bridgman for 20 points in that round, which gets you up to, well, okay, we'll do that later. Let's reset the clock for 60 seconds, and we'll turn the category over to Berrien Springs for the ones that were missed or passed on. And, Bill, when you are ready.
Okay,
Berrien
again,
Springs, are you ready?
Yes.
There we go.
Name the state that borders both. Florida and South Carolina.
Georgia.
Correct. Michigan and Pennsylvania.
Ohio.
Correct. Alabama and Louisiana.
Mississippi.
Correct. Vermont and Maine.
New Hampshire.
Correct. Idaho and Oregon.
Washington.
Correct. Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New York.
I think it's Virginia.
Vermont.
Correct. Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming.
Montana.
Correct. Illinois, Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota.
Yeah, go.
Wisconsin?
Go with it.
Wisconsin.
Correct.
Is that it? Total of 8 correct?
So, you know.
8 correct for 80 points. And that will wrap up that part of the 60-second round. But we'll set the clock again and turn the whole thing over, or leave it there with Berrien Springs. You then have your choice of the 2 remaining categories, and they are Maryland and Dallas Cowboys. And what are we going to do there?
Maryland, I'm assuming. Right. Maryland.
I'm going to go with Maryland.
That one. I wouldn't. I've read them. I wouldn't.
60 seconds on the clock. Any setup needed here?
Just identify these people who were either born in Maryland or lived a good part of their lives in Maryland.
Piece of cake. 60 seconds on the clock. Bill, whenever you're ready.
Pleaded no contest to tax evasion in 1973 and resigned the vice presidency.
What's his name?
Pass.
Author of Silent Spring.
Smith.
Incorrect. He hit 60 home runs in 1927.
Babe Ruth.
Yes.
Babe Ruth.
Correct. Founder of the American Red Cross.
Clear Barton.
Correct. Exposed the meatpacking industry in the jungle.
Nathan Sinclair.
That's correct. Shouted sic semper tyrannis from the stage of Ford's Theater on April 14th, 1865.
Booth. John Wilkes Booth.
She starred in Protocol and Foul Play.
These are both terrible movies.
Pass. Pass.
Creator of the Muppets.
Smith.
Incorrect.
Mr. Smith makes the Muppets. I don't think
They
that's
had
right.
4.
4 correct for 40 more points. And then we'll reset the clock and turn the category over to the good people of Bridgman for the ones missed, passed, or not yet attempted. At the ready, 60 seconds, here we go.
Okay, identify these people who were either born in Maryland or lived a good deal of their lives in Maryland. Pleaded no contest to tax evasion in 1973 and resigned the vice presidency.
Oh, we're going to pass that one.
I'm sorry?
Pass.
Pass. Author of Silent Spring.
Stephen King.
Incorrect. Rachel Carson. She starred in Protocol and Foul Play.
Pass.
Creator of the Muppets.
That's Jim Henson.
That's correct. Reached the North Pole with Robert Peary.
Pass.
Author of the Maltese Falcon.
Anybody?
And the Thin Man. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Is that a pass?
Yeah, pass.
You want to go back to she starred in Protocol and Foul Play?
So Julia Roberts.
Incorrect. And pleaded no contest. Well, we started to tax evasion in 1973 and resigned the vice presidency.
We got nothing.
Now is Spiro Agnew.
All right.
And the Protocol and Foul Play was Goldie Hawn. And Matthew Henson was the North Pole. And Dashiell Hammett was the author of the Maltese Falcon and the Thin.
One correct for Bridgman for another 10 points. And that will wrap up the 60-second round. We'll check the scores and conclude the game next here with WSJM News and talk of Michigan's Great Southwest. Ta-da. All right.
I don't know if this is weird. Can I ask who that guy is sitting in the chair, painstakingly looking?
He's
The founder of the radio station company here back in the late 50s.
Nice.
Ernie Fadern.
Right.
Very famous for ferns.
Do his eyes follow you if you move around the room?
It's called good painting.
It's not a painting. I get it.
I was going to say Seymour Butts, but I figured.
What?
What do we got here? Matthew? Jessica
System of
went
the
away,
Bleachers.
and Matthew
I
comes
don't
in.
No, but my husband doesn't. What? That's, I guess.
No.
The guys next door at Art and Image made
Art
that.
Image.
Oh, you're next to a Mustang dealership, whatever that is.
Toyota?
Toyota.
That's a couple doors down.
There's actually another restaurant going in next door also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I saw
Baked
a
potato.
Baked potato restaurant.
Oh, that's gonna do
Potato
well.
on the fly.
just strictly potatoes.
Strictly potato.
Pretty much.
That'd be great. It's like Rhode Island.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's bring us back and you'll find out a little bit about your schools, and then we'll complete the match here. And here we go. The score at the end of the 62nd round, Berrien Springs 215, Bridgman 45. Time now to find out a little bit about what's happening at each of our participating schools. We'll start with Berrien Springs. Corey, you're up.
Greetings from Berrien Springs High School. Winter sports are getting ready to wrap up their seasons. Wrestlers has finished their season for this year. However, 5 Shamrock Wrestlers move on to individual regional competition. Advancing regional competition are Garrett Cleveland, Renee Williams, Johnny Boone, Gage Wells, and Sebastian Norsop, who will compete this Saturday, February 21st, at Otsego High School. This Wednesday, February 18th, we will hold our annual art show at the high school from 6 to 7 p.m. Immediately following is our winter choir concert in the high school gym. All choirs will perform under the direction of Miss Carrie Vandenberg. Don't miss the wonderful evening of enchanting music. The choirs are gearing up for District Choral Festival to be held Tuesday, February 24th and Wednesday, February 25th at the chapel in St. Joe. On Thursday, February 26th, we will hold our annual pre-festival band concert at 7 p.m. in the high school gym. On Thursday, March 5th, we will host the 5th annual Shamrock Quiz Bowl Invitational beginning at 6 p.m. We look forward to exciting Quiz Bowl action. Before we close tonight, we would like to thank the radio stations of WSJM 94.9, their sponsors Chemical Bank and Lake Michigan College, Lakeshore Public Schools, and Waterville Community Schools for sponsoring this event.
Corey, thank you, and let's find out a little bit about what's going on at Bridgman. And Warren, you're up.
All right. Most recently at Bridgman, last night we had our Winterfest night. It was moved from Saturday to Monday because of bad weather that day. Last night we had a girls and boys varsity round versus New Buffalo, and also the same night our Winterfest king and queen were crowned. That was Kyle Zilke and Jordan Jones. Tonight the cross country team is being recognized at the basketball game, and Spanish students are getting ready for their annual Puerto Rico trip. That's about
Very
it.
nice.
Whoa.
All right.
The French club going to France?
Going to French Guiana.
They're going to Haiti.
Montreal.
One substitution for Berrien Springs. Sir, step up to the microphone. Identify yourself there.
Matthew Reeves,
right.
junior.
Welcome, Matthew. Let's move on and wrap this up as we begin the second half of today's academic challenge between Berrien Springs and Bridgman. And whenever you are ready, Bill, we'll get her going.
For 5 points, a graph of European population shows it increasing steadily from the year 600 through about 1300, where it takes a big dip before resuming its growth trend around 1400. What accounts for that dip in population?
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
The Black Plague.
That's correct for 5 points. For 15 points, which of the following artists is best known for his portraits? Millet, Van Dyck, Michelangelo, Corot, or Chagall?
Warren, Bridgman.
Van Dyck.
That's correct for 15 points. For 20 points, a survey conducted by the University of Michigan and paid for by the National Institute on Aging.
Settle down.
Yeah, it gets worse. Found what happened to 10% of older people who lose a spouse?
Warren, Bridgman.
They get depression.
Incorrect.
Corey, Berrien Springs.
They die shortly after.
Incorrect. They were cheered up.
Only 10.
I asked that question to my wife today. And I said you were the 90 percentile. A math question for 15 points. How long is a cord from the top of one pole 50 feet high to the top of another pole 20 feet high, with the poles being 16 feet apart?
Matthew, just in under the wire. Berrien
46
Springs.
46 feet.
Incorrect.
Bridgman, anybody? Warren?
15.
34 feet. For 15 points, these wandering boulders were an intellectual aristocracy during the Middle Ages and could move all over Europe, sure of a welcome and a job. What were these people called?
Warren, Bridgman.
The Freemasons.
That's correct for 15 points. This is a multiple choice question. For 10 points, the great literary outpouring which occurred during the Jacksonian period in American history began and was centered in the Far West, the South, New England, or the Middle Atlantic states.
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
That is correct for 10 points. For 15 points, a collected mass of cell bodies of neurons outside the spinal cord or brain is called what?
Warren, Bridgman.
Nerve tissue.
Incorrect.
Berrien Springs, 5 seconds. Corey?
Just nerve.
Incorrect. It's ganglion.
What?
For 10 points, what Windows feature does away with text commands and uses a mouse to move around the screen? It's abbreviated GUI.
Warren, Bridgman.
Graphical user interface.
That is correct for 10 points.
Wow.
For 5 points, identify the profession of Mr. Utterson in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Newland Archer in The Age of Innocence, Sidney Carton in A Tale of Two Cities, Henry Drummond in Inherit the Wind, and Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird.
Matthew, Berrien Springs.
Lawyer.
That is correct for 5 points, and you can see To Kill a Mockingbird next year at Twin City Players. Little plug there. For 15 points, the novel A Passage to India was written by E.M. Forrester. But what great American poet wrote the 1871 work entitled Passage to India?
Warren, Bridgman.
Washington Irving.
Incorrect.
Berrien Springs, 5 seconds. Joseph?
Frost.
Walt Whitman. For 10 points, self-examination for the purpose of deeper self-understanding. I have just defined what 13-letter word starting with an I.
Matthew, Berrien Springs.
Introspection.
That is correct for 10 points. A math question for 10 points. Calculate the length of a 36-degree arc in a circle with a circumference of 55 pi.
Warren, Bridgman.
5.5 pi.
That is correct for 10 points. For 15 points, what comedian denied membership in a country club for being Jewish asked if his half-Jewish child could go in the water up to her knees?
Oh my God.
Warren, Bridgman.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Incorrect.
Berrien Springs, 5 seconds. Matthew?
Will Ferrell.
Sorry. No, that point, it was Groucho Marx. For 15 points, today, a woman without a man is like a fish without a bicycle. Quote, what famous feminist?
Time.
Gloria Steinem. So true, so true. For 10 points. He spoke well at these orgies of commercial righteousness about the realtor's function as a seer of the future development of the community, which meant that a real estate broker could make money by guessing which way the town would grow. This guessing is called vision. Which literary character is described in that passage from a novel?
Time.
Babbitt, whoever the heck that is. For 5 points. He says he has no misgivings about the CIA methods used at Guantanamo Bay prison, and said he wouldn't hesitate to authorize those techniques again if it were his decision.
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
Dick Cheney.
That is correct for 5 points.
Can you shoot a guy?
For 10 points. This is the home state of former Senator Alan Simpson, who was replaced by current Senator Mike Enzi. Before becoming Secretary of Defense, Dick Cheney represented this state in the House. Name this western state.
Brady, Berrien Springs.
Washington.
Incorrect.
Bridgman, 5 seconds. Warren?
Oregon.
Wyoming. For 5 points. Many thousands of people have been killed in what African nation during 1 year of warfare, with the country's leaders apparently putting their personal ambitions ahead of the young nation's future?
Warren, Bridgman.
The Democratic Republic of Congo.
Incorrect.
Berrien Springs, Joseph.
What is South Sudan?
That is correct for 5 points. For 5 points, what NFL franchise became the first since the 1970s to win their 6th consecutive division title due to the quarterbacking of Tom Brady and the coaching?
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
What is the New England Patriots?
Yeah, what is 5 points? For 15 points, name a Wisconsin Republican who was Mitt Romney's vice presidential nominee in the 2012 election.
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
Is Crazy Herman Cain?
Incorrect!
I'm just here to entertain it.
Yeah, that's well done. Bridgman, 5 seconds. Warren.
Ryan something.
Oh, it's... Yeah,
If you would have just said Ryan, I would have given it to you. But when you said Ryan something, his last name is Ryan. Paul Ryan.
Close.
I meant Ryan Seacrest.
10 points. For 10 points. In 2013, John O'Brien became the director of which agency, following the resignation of Michael Morrill?
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
the CIA.
That is correct for 10 points. For 10 points, George W. Bush recently made a surprise visit to what new museum in Manhattan that deals with a critical time during his presidency?
Warren, Bridgman,
The Museum of Modern Art.
Incorrect.
Berrien Springs, 5 seconds.
Oh, so wrong. I realized.
Joseph,
The Iraqi War Museum of Iraq.
Incorrect. It was the 9/11 museum.
next question is going to be the last question of the second half, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, then let's go with a 20-point question.
All right.
20 points. Which terrorist group was responsible for a December attack on a Pakistani school, leading to 145 deaths, with many of the victims being children? We're looking for the terrorist group.
Brady, Berrien Springs.
Al Qaeda.
Incorrect.
Bridgman, 5 seconds. Warren,
ISIS.
Incorrect. It was the Pakistani Taliban.
that wraps it up. The end of today's academic challenge match. We'll tabulate the scores and announce the winners after this on WSJM, the news and talk of Michigan's Great Southwest.
Good comeback. You guys really picked it up.
Oh, yeah.
Good job. Good job.
I thought it was gonna be some obscure like Julian terrorist group.
What? Why are they terrorists in Israel?
Because there are. No, there are terrorist groups in Israel that are Israeli, and they attack the Palestinians. Trust me, I was just pulled from I was trying to sleep on it, but I couldn't. And I was like, 6 days away. That sounds interesting. So I Wikipedia.
It's just they had to recognize
every
the
article and every related article on the 6 days war.
She knows. I don't either. It's just me and this guy.
I was gonna go around.
Is there? Are there any American?
These for the next round too.
Probably. Try to kick it around.
Yes, I am totally
Bumper. They're not too hard to break.
Miscellaneous.
That doesn't seem like a terrorist.
I might really like Coloma.
I feel like you would use a euphemism for terrorism to describe it.
We're not done yet.
Oh yeah, they got the.
Yeah, you guys are sticking around, so.
I
Okay.
gotta go over here.
All right.
I gotta change sides.
What would that sound like?
I thought we're breaking up.
Sounds bad. We're going in on top.
Better give the final score. Yeah.
It's kind of hard to hide.
It's more of a pet project of mine.
5, yes.
Good job.
It's a human centered.
We got to do the final score before we can
I
let
like it.
these
I like it.
folks go.
Could be a good mascot.
Which is this man.
Oh, blowing you up over
Oh,
there.
sorry, 1 second. Forgot. This woman.
Those are
This woman connected to this
If you don't have
Asian.
both, you can't propagate.
It's a
Ready?
human centipede.
All right.
Can you not?
Here we go, folks. Let's bring it back, wrap it up. Here we go. We are back at WSJM's Academic Challenge to announce today's winner and thank our sponsors. And the winners by a score of 270 to 95, the team from Berrien Springs. How about a nice hand for Berrien Springs? Congratulations, one and all. Thank you, Bridgman. We thank you for coming and joining us on WSJM's Academic Challenge, brought to you by Lakeshore Public Schools, Lake Michigan College, Waterville Lake Public Schools, and by Chemical Bank. And we hope you'll join us again next time at the same time as Berrien Springs and Coloma go head-to-head on Academic Challenge. We're free and clear.
Good job.
And for you guys, this is the end of the final or the regular season. We'll have details out on the tournament coming up for you in the next couple of days.
Since next